Good morning from Snake Mountain Boat Works on Tuesday, November 14. It's Sikaflex time for the 1946 Brightside U22. Several people have asked to see once again how John pays the Sikaflex into the seams. So we'll start putting that video together now and follow him as he makes progress. So our first stop in this journey is the aft deck, where John yesterday and last night paid in Sikaflex 295 high UV into the deck seams on the aft deck. Let's now move forward where John's a little bit earlier in the process of paying in the Sikaflex into the foredeck seams. So the first step is painting off those parts of the deck that we want to stay free of Sikaflex. Well, I'll just hand it off to John. Why don't you give us an idea of what you're doing at this point and how it helps you complete the task.
Well, try not to make a mess with the Sikaflex. It's kind of a one-shot deal. You put it on, you wipe it in, you can use a special tool to wipe it in, and you really got to avoid going back over it too many times. So what I have to do to keep from making a real mess is I have to tape off all the boards and leave the seams exposed so I can put the Sikaflex in them. But I have to be very careful not to run the tape down over the edge of the board, because then it's inside of the Sikaflex. When I pull the tape back up, it lifts the Sikaflex edge up and makes a different kind of a mess. So part of the process is taping, but more important is taping it right, so that the Sikaflex goes on properly, stays on, doesn't get lifted by the tape. This takes quite a while here. This deck is pretty big on this boat, back deck. That wasn't this big, so
Now,
it's great.
this seam along here you will do after you've done these?
No,
do it all at once.
I'll do it all at once, just like I did the back deck.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do the outer perimeter separately, but in this case I will do it all at the same time.
Well, that's great. John, you can keep working and we'll come back when the white stuff comes out. So I'll just hand it to John to share with you what's going on here.
Well, after I taped off everything, make sure I keep the mess down. I start in with putting Sikaflex in the seams, and I have to have enough in there so that I don't have low spots. And like I said before, try to do this so that I don't keep going over it. My tool is covered with 333 Interlux 333 brushing liquid. That makes it glide a little easier on the Sikaflex. In doing this, I try to squeeze it right in, down past the tape, so that I can have it lower than the deck surface, if at all possible, so the varnish just covers the top of it instead of being built up above the deck surface. But as with any process, this is a long process. But once I start, I have got to keep on going until I'm done.
Yeah, the taping part of it took you all morning, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I even worked on this last night, taping the foredeck off. So I was here for quite a while last night, and then back early this morning.
So what you're trying to achieve is a concave surface so that it's all below the edges of the seam, right, John?
That's correct. I may appear to be wasting a little material, but better to have too much than not enough in this case.
Here is, if you're wondering why he keeps disappearing out of the frame, that rag is soaked in Interlux 333, and the paint cup has a bit of 333 in it so that he can continue working.
If the surface of the skins over and dries out, then it leaves voids in the finish. That's why I'm trying to make it continuing. Try to continue the job, every seam one after another, and connect outside to it.
Will you let it cure before you pull the tape?
No, actually, as soon as I get this all on, I will pull the tape. And the reason I do that is because I want to pull the tape while it's still soft.
Oh, so you don't get little curtains along the edges, huh?
Yes,
Or little...
that is correct. Yeah, it'll take me a few hours to get across this deck.
Now, originally we made that tool, but I can't remember what its design function is. We've repurposed it. Is it for...
Pretty sure it's for doing like pastries.
Oh, it's a baking tool.
Yeah, baking tool.
Kind of a nice little tool.
Does it say anything on it anywhere?
No, this is stainless steel. Very flexible end on it. Works really nice for what we're using it for.
But I'm sure if you go into a shop that sells cooking utensils, you can find this little spatula. I wouldn't be surprised if Amazon carries it as well. So we'll let John keep working here, and before you know it, we'll have a completely seamed deck, at which point we'll leave it alone, let it cure. Then, absolutely for sure, it will be varnish time. We will, on the decks and covering boards, the helm seat frame, etc., will all be finished in Interlux two-part Perfection Plus. Actually, I think it's Interlux Perfection two-part Plus. And I believe they've also added a 2.0 to it. I'm not sure what that changes. But for this purpose, it is perfect. First of all, once it cures, Perfection is hard as nails. Very impervious to abrasions, to scratches. And it's also absolutely crystal clear. So we can varnish over the Sikaflex without degrading its brilliant white color. And the nice thing is that the Perfection's extremely high UV protection complements the Sikaflex high UV's UV protection. So it's very unlikely that having the Sikaflex fully encapsulated beneath 24 coats of Perfection, that the Sikaflex will degrade and crack and craze over time, something that we've all seen to our dismay in our own boats or boats owned by others or at boat shows. So we'll close up shop here on the video and be back with you sometime in the very near future with an update on the 1946 Chris-Craft Brightside U22. Thank you so much. Bye-bye from Snake Mountain Boat Works.